Dr. Swamy, your critics, especially the Congress today, are now saying that this is Dr. Subramanian Swamy's personal campaign of vendetta and slander against P Chidambaram, which has been exposed today in the Supreme Court. Your response, Dr. Swamy?
Well, the Congress may say anything, but the fact of the matter is that the judgment that was delivered today is not what I argued. And therefore, I'll have to go back to the Supreme Court and say, please give me a judgment on what I argued. I never argued that Chidambaram was in a criminal conspiracy with Raja. I never argued that Chidambaram misused his office. These are parts 1 and 2 of section 13 bracket 1 bracket D. I argued something else.
Dr. Swamy, hold on. You are now changing the goalposts. You had claimed right through that Mr. Chidambaram along with Mr. A. Raja was part of a criminal conspiracy on 2G. Now you are suddenly saying after today's Supreme Court order that conspiracy was never part of your argument.
That has been upheld. It's not a conspiracy. I said Raja and Chidambaram decided together. That has been upheld even in the Supreme Court today. They said, yes, the two of them decided, but that doesn't prove unless you show what they call as a criminal intent,
yes,
or a criminal conspiracy.
But
I'm sorry to say, that's not what I argued. I argued under a different section. Section 13 bracket 1 bracket D part 3 where you don't need to prove criminal conspiracy.
Dr. Swamy, the Supreme Court bench today has very clearly said there was no prima facie material that Mr. P. Chidambaram got any pecuniary benefit, nor was there any material on record to prove that he, as the then finance minister, abused his official position to cause loss to the exchequer.
Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai, you please go and read section part 3 of section 13 bracket 1 bracket D. There is no question of pecuniary benefit in that. There is only that if you are a public servant,
yes,
and someone got pecuniary benefits, which of course everybody knows that Swan and Unitech got it, that's the prosecution of the CBI,
yes,
and it was not in the public interest. That has been proved because the licenses have been cancelled. My case is an open-shut case. It has now been, I never argued about criminal conspiracy. I never argued about criminal intent.
Yes.
I worked only on that particular section.
Dr. Swamy, I'm only today going by what the Supreme Court has said in court. The Supreme Court says there is no evidence of any abuse of official authority or criminal conspiracy against Mr. Chidambaram. Are you, sir, I come back to it, changing your goalposts now after the judgment and claiming that you never at any stage suggested that Mr. P. Chidambaram was part of a larger conspiracy?
Sorry, you can use phrases as you like. You have not read the judgment because nobody has read the judgment. They read only the last 3 pages.
Sorry, sir.
In the last 3 pages, they only talk about criminal conspiracy. They said that I had not proved it. I had never alleged it. So where is the question of my proving it? They said I did not prove that he had criminal intent. I never alleged it. So where is the question of my proving it? So where is the question of changing goalposts? Don't please use these phrases loosely like that.
You know, Dr. Swamy, you wanted Mr. Chidambaram, sir, let's be honest, to be probed further in the 2G case. Mr. O.P. Saini in the special court rejected your plea. Now the Supreme Court rejects it. You have done, no one will doubt, a very credible job in bringing 2G on the national agenda. But why not accept that you have lost this particular battle in the court rather than today going ahead and accusing the Supreme Court of passing a bad judgment?
Well, I'm sorry, just because you say I should accept doesn't mean I should accept. Courts can make wrong decisions, courts can give bad judgments. I came to the court, Supreme Court, only on this ground that Mr. Judge Saini has accepted my plea that Chidambaram and Raja decided together. But then he went on further to say that I did not show criminal intent, I did not show criminal conspiracy. I said I don't need to show. I went and argued that. That has not been addressed in the judgment of the pages that have been read.
No, no,
so
no.
where is the question of my saying I should quit? Just because you want me to quit, I can't quit.
Sir, I am not asking you to, Dr. Swamy, no one is asking you to quit. I am only today reading what the Supreme Court judgment has said. The Supreme Court has said, I repeat, that criminal conspiracy cannot be inferred merely on the suspicion that there was a meeting for taking decisions between the officials of the Department of Telecom and two ministers. At the end of the day, that's what the Apex Court judgment says, sir.
Please listen, Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai. I am repeating again. I never alleged criminal conspiracy. Where is the question of deciding on the basis of a meeting? Where is the question of my allegation?
No, Dr. Swamy, let me tell you today what your critics and political opponents are saying today. They are saying you've had a long-standing feud and rivalry with Mr. Chidambaram, which is why you made every effort to drag him into this 2G case. What was a good case you had with Mr. Raja, you brought in Mr. Chidambaram as well because of your long-standing rivalry.
Well, first of all, when I started with Raja, Mr. Karunanidhi said, because I'm a Brahmin, therefore I'm against the Dalit. Then when it was a Karnimuri that I was against women, I've always been against women. Now you say that I have a long vendetta of Mr. Chidambaram. These are very cheap allegations to be made. If a man is guilty of corruption, it is my duty to try and prosecute him.
Sure.
And if a judgment is wrong, I have every right to say it's a wrong judgment and go back in review and saying, please address the issue that I raised. You did not raise the issue. You have not answered my questions.
How do you respond, Dr. Swamy, to today those who are also criticizing you, saying after the judgment that Subramanian Swamy is a serial petitioner who only looks to settle political scores through filing cases against your political rivals?
Well, first of all, when I fought Ram Setu, there was no question of any personal vendetta against anybody. This is a question where 2G is, in fact, the Justice Singhvi Ganguly judgment actually has complimented people like me who have brought it to the notice of the public.
Yes.
The courts are always welcome to receive me when I come to argue. Recently on the presidential reference, I brought out how the government had actually accepted auction and now is coming on a presidential reference.
Yes.
The court complimented me there. So I don't know who you've been talking to. Maybe you've been talking to Chidambaram, but I have not heard this from anybody.
No, Dr. Swamy, let's not get personal. I haven't spoken to Mr. Chidambaram. I think that's a very unfair accusation, sir. I am asking you this as an independent television news anchor based on the story of the day, sir. Would you concede purely on the basis of what the Supreme Court has said today that Mr. Chidambaram today, based on today's judgment alone, sir, has got a clean chit in the 2G case now?
Well, I am going back in a review. Let's see what they say in a review. But that doesn't mean that just because the Supreme Court has held a view that he's not worthy of being sent to jail, doesn't mean I don't think he's guilty, and doesn't mean that the public of India doesn't think he's guilty.
Sir, the public of India may well think anything. I am going by the law, the court of law, because you went to the court, sir. Will you concede that based on what the court has said today that Mr. Chidambaram's role cannot be further investigated in this case?
No, that was not the basis. Please, that was not the basis of my petition. My basis of my petition is that Mr. Chidambaram should be made co-accused. Mr. Prashant Bhushan's petition. That is
a petition to make him a co-accused, sir, which I may say has been rejected today, sir, with all humility by the court.
No, it may have been rejected. It could be wrongly rejected.
Right.
You don't have to necessarily say everything the Supreme Court says we have to agree. We can have difference of opinion. We can say we are permitted under the law to say a judgment is bad.
Yes.
I don't ascribe any motives to any of the judges. I'm only saying this is a bad judgment because, not because they got the law wrong, but they have given a judgment on things that I did not argue.
Sir, am I then to understand that your battle against Mr. Chidambaram will now continue but will be fought like a political battle finally, less than a battle in the courts? Am I to understand that that phase of your battle on 2G is over vis-a-vis Mr. Chidambaram?
No, my legal battle continues. There's one more Aircel Maxis deal coming up There may be more coming up on the stock market and so on. That's not a question. The legal thing is a part of our democratic system.
Yes.
As far as the public is concerned, I go touring. Even now, I am going today to Madhya Pradesh. Day before yesterday, I was in Surat in Gujarat.
Yes.
So I am doing both.
Yes.
And the fact of the matter is that I'm doing this for the country. There's nothing personal in this.
Sir, I don't think anyone doubts that, that as I said earlier, sir, that you brought this issue to center stage through your battle. But earlier today, Dr. Swamy, a Congress minister, Ashwini Kumar, said Dr. Swamy must apologize to Mr. Chidambaram for making baseless personal allegations. Will you consider apologizing or at least taking back some of the things you've said against the finance minister in public, many of which are seen to be slanderous and outrightly defamatory?
He can file a defamation case against me at any time. I'm ready, provided he files it in India. And being a minister, you ought to file it in India and not run away to Timbuktu and Singapore and other places. So let me say that the question of I'm surprised that such questions are posed. It shows that they are themselves in a weak position and they don't want me to pursue anymore.
Well, Dr. Swamy, appreciate your joining us.